Alright, so welcome back. This is episode 6, and today we're going to be making crab cakes, or crab cake po' boy, and coleslaw. And as well as with that, I'm going to make a pink mayonnaise, basically, and a chipotle aioli. And so yeah, I got everything laid out here. Why I titled it a scrimp po' boy is that, or a scrimp cake, is that I'm going to add some shrimp into it too. So it's going to be shrimp and crab. And there's a TV show I like that they jokingly will replace the word scrimp for shrimp when talking. I don't know, it's stupid, but it's funny. Alright, so I'm going to break it down into 3 sections because that's pretty much what it is. So for the aioli, it's going to be mayonnaise, a little bit of lemon, some chipotle, and a little bit of homemade hot sauce. I'm going to make the coleslaw first because I want it to really reduce down. I'm going to use pre-packaged just coleslaw for the base of it. And then that will also include sugar, mayonnaise, rice wine vinegar, dill, and mango. And for the scrimp cakes, I'm going to be using mayonnaise, crab, prawn, egg, red bell pepper, and that's going to be mainly for color, some cilantro, a little bit of celery, green onion, some Tongan Kalimana chilies, and probably a little lemon zest in there as well. And ginger, I don't know if I said that already. And we got garlic powder, onion powder, coriander, cayenne, a little Creole seasoning, and then this is from the same company, the Louisiana Crawfish Company. This is a seafood boil, and I'm just add that in as a seasoning, and some breadcrumbs. And so I'm going to use the same type bread that I'm going to use as the sandwich. I've got it in the oven right now drying. When making coleslaw, I like to make the base first, like the juice first, which is mayonnaise, vinegar, and sugar. All right. I'm going to make a decent amount of coleslaw, so enough for more than just this one meal. I like using the rice wine vinegar because it's got a really sweet flavor to it, and it really accompanies the just the sugar, and it makes the cabbage actually have a nice sweet taste to it. And the dill. I go pretty heavy with the dill. So yeah, and then we'll go with the sugar. Alright. And then you give it a nice good mix. So today's story though is kind of well, they're all funny ones. Alright, this is probably gonna need a little more vinegar. It's the Applecore Outlaw. Years ago, I was a chef or a cook in the Navy, and so I worked on an aircraft carrier. Yeah, there we go. Usually when I make this, I'll wait till I have a mayonnaise jar that's almost empty, and then I'll just put everything into there with the last of the mayonnaise, and then just mix it all in there. It's really easy. So now I'm going to slice the mango up. I'm going to leave the skin on, and I'm going to make really thin slices. So as a cook in the Navy, at least on this one carrier, the rumor was, and this was like from the bosses down, is that we were 60% undermanned. And so we were just basically, this actually works really, really good with really green mango. It has kind of a crisper texture to it. Yeah, so we were super undermanned, really overworked in my opinion. The hours that we were working were ridiculous. Like I averaged 70-hour work weeks, and I was just one of many of us that were in that same schedule. All right, a little bit thinner. Well, because of this, and I'm not calling anything out here, but I saw what I saw. Because of this, it's a very stressed environment. And so there's a lot of drug use. I saw more meth, more heroin, more anything on the carrier than I've ever seen anywhere else in my life. And like even like it made it was a joke. It was just everywhere. One of the fun things or nice things when making this, when doing it with the mayonnaise jar, is that you can stuff as much as you can in there. Do the same thing. Make all the mix first, and then put the cabbage in last. Stuff it in there. Then after a while, like an hour or so, you'll come back and it is actually reduced down. And so you can basically just keep adding the cabbage to it until it's just packed, till you've used up an entire bag. I can fit one of these whole bags into one of those jars. So now that's got a nice good mix to it. It looks like regular old coleslaw. I might add some hot sauce to it just to give it a little zing. Yeah, let's do that. This is a ricotta hot sauce. It's literally just ricottas and vinegar. There we go. So this will be a sweet, spicy coleslaw. This is going to go perfect with the crab cake. The Scrimpcake, sorry. Alright, that fit perfect. So besides us just being completely like overwhelmed work-wise, a lot of the rest of the boat, a lot of the rest of the crew was understaffed or just weird working hours, so there was just high tension constantly. Why won't this lid go on? Let me get a different lid. Alright, so there we go. So the lid's not fitting right, but that's alright. So we got the coleslaw in the fridge, and now we're on to the aioli. Alright, so, and I don't want to paint a bad picture about the military. There's many, many very hardworking individuals in there. But I just want to say that what I saw. It could have been just that place. It could have been just that time. I don't know. But, Alright. So now we got the chipotle, the mayonnaise, do some lemon. So, I mean, there was a lot of other gnarly stuff that happened on the boat. Two of the guys that I worked with got arrested for running guns, and here we go, a little bit of this in there. One of the ladies that I worked with was arrested for running a prostitution ring. And you got to think, I mean, on the ship there's 5,000 people. When you go out to sea, you're basically locked out to sea. And I don't remember what the ratio was, but I'd say maybe 10% were female. So it was highly profitable for the women who wanted to do that. So that was interesting. Halfway through mixing that, my mixer broke. So I gotta mix it a different way. Yeah, so there was all sorts of crime rings going on, counterfeit money. Alright, so one of the, like I said, I'm not trying to paint this horrible picture, but one of the other weird things that we did that to this day makes no sense to me was how we did our inventory. At a specific time, I don't want to say monthly, I know it was a little longer than that, but we'll just say like every 2 months or something like that. Now, one of the things that I like to do with this particular aioli is right before I serve it, I'll squeeze a lemon into it, just so there's like a layer of fresh lemon juice right on the top. I am making a mess here. Alright, so when we would do inventory, we would take basically every single thing from the kitchen that was edible, regardless of when we had received it or expiration date, and we would just throw it out. Alright, that made a lot of mess for such a little product, but oh, that is killer. That is delicious. So So I started the oil preheating over here. I'm going to move the pan over here in a little bit, but just for working space right now I'm just doing this. Alright, so put the crab in first. I've pre-drained the crab, or drained the crab. I guess pre-drained is when it still has water in it. But yeah, draining the crab, taking these little paper things out, these little crab cupcake papers. Don't know why those are in there, but hey, because it's fancy. I put the bread into the bag here to help save the crumbs so they're not going everywhere. Yeah, learned from Rat Tactics right there. Yeah, this doesn't have to be a powder. As rough like this is pretty good. Add that in. And it still made a little mess. So when we would do our inventory, I mentioned how we would just throw everything out. When we were inshore or docked, we would just go out and literally fill these dumpsters up with all the stuff from the kitchen. It just made no sense to me, like why we didn't donate it. Because I mean, some of this stuff we'd only have had like a week, and it was like canned goods or something. It made no sense. But hey, that was their way of keeping inventory, and I wasn't the boss, so that's what they wanted to do. All right, we got celery in there. All right, I like leaving the skin on the carrots. All right, so but when we're out to sea, we would keep up that same pattern, but instead of throwing it into dumpsters, we would just bundle everything up into these giant fucking bags. I mean, these things are huge. These were like each bag was like the size of like 2 trash trucks or a really large washing machine. So it was insane. And then some bell pepper. I'm not going to do too much because I don't really want the flavor of the bell pepper to be strong in there. I want it more for color than anything. Alright, I'm going to go a little finer on the bell pepper. Like I said, it's going more for color. It's kind of just being a pimento in this situation. Alright. Do the cilantro while it's still looking okay. When we'd be out to sea and we dump these trash bags, these giant house-sized trash bags out into the ocean, we would dump a whole series of them. It would be like literally like as long as like a city block of just all these giant trash bags. Alright, now a little ginger. Not too much because I'm not making a whole lot. Oftentimes, just like with many of my other things, I'll leave the skin on the ginger. It is edible. It's just usually not a pleasant texture. Alright, so I mean, it was insane watching these trash bags. These things are giant, just insane just watching them just drift away. And who knows where they went. I mean, we're in international waters. It's up for grabs for anyone. And what's kind of interesting is that it's like the largest amount of waste you could think of. But it's kind of interesting to think that some of those bags might wash up on the shores of some third world place and it's filled with all this non-expired good food. It's like, but at the same time it's also mixed in with all the like sanitary waste from the bathrooms, like the napkins and tissues and anything, any trash can anyone put anything into ended up there. The Calimana chilies. These guys have a nice little kick to them. They're one of those deceptive chilies that because they're so tiny, You don't really think there's any going to be a kick to them, but no, there definitely is. All right. All right, then I'm going to do a pretty, not super fine, but a good chop with the prawns. I kept them kind of like half chilled so that they would just be easier to cut. Alright, so like a buddy of mine, one of his jobs, his entire job for a while on the boat was working in the recycling department. So that's pretty cool, which was kind of odd because he was a fireman, but hey. Just a little finer. There you go, because I want it to blend in with the stuff. I don't want it too chunky because then it'll have a tendency to want to try to break apart. Alright, mix that in now. Yeah, so his entire job for this recycling department, hold on, let me wipe this down. That's looking pretty nice. Alright. Okay. Forgot to do a little lemon zest. Prawn particles. Alright, so my buddy's entire job was sitting in this room where people would bring him like basically the trash cans that had like the recyclables in it. Like one would be all plastic, stuff like that. He worked in the plastic department. When people would bring him these little bins, he would separate the different types of plastic and he would put them all into these big melting compressor things, compression things. Like it had a top that was just scalding hot. Yeah, so this machine had this big funnel on the top that was huge, this big giant funnel, and it just went down and he threw all the plastic stuff in there, and it just piece by piece just went down into this machine, just melting, and then going from there it would pour into these molds basically, and then it would compress them down into these big discs. The discs were probably about that round. Yeah, the discs were probably about as round as a tire, but only about 2 or 3 inches thick. And so after he would go through all the trouble of separating these things into the different stuff, and the people had gone through the trouble, a little onion powder, and the people had gone through the trouble of putting it in the separate bins, whatnot. After my buddy would make these discs up, he would send them, basically he'd pile them all up on the stuff, and that was coriander and cayenne, a little garlic powder, a little bit of my little seafood boil. This is going to give it that real kick right there. And I don't remember if I added mayonnaise yet. I don't think I did. No, I did not. Alright, so after my buddy would make these discs up, yeah, so he would then pile them all up into this thing where this guy would come and take them away. And then that guy would basically take them to a place where they would just drop them off the side of the boat. And they would just sink. And it was completely pointless. It's like, why are we even going through the process of recycling all this stuff if you're just going to drop it over the side of the fucking boat? Just like the meatballs from the last episode, you want this to be like a nice compactable, like I said in the last one, if you're having a snowball fight, that's kind of the texture that you're going for. Alright, so I'm going to patty these up. I'm not going to make them very big. I want them to go to fit nice in the sandwich. Alright. Probably going to chill these for a little bit just to let everything set. Alright, I did end up adding a little bit more bread to them. Amongst all this chaos, amongst all this crime and just trash and stuff like that, one of the jobs for the cooks is basically like, I don't know what you call it, but like to keep morale up. Like one day when a guy on one of the little tractor things that tows the planes around, or the jets around, he drove off. He backed off the side of the boat, and since he was seatbelted and strapped into this 3-ton truck, he just dropped to the bottom of the ocean, never to be seen. Like, that was it. That was his last day. Alright, I'm going to put these in the fridge for a little bit. Alright, so it's been about 20 minutes, and according to my digital thermometer, this is at 425-ish. So we're going to do a little test guy. Good. Alright, do 3 this run and 2 the next run. Alright, so this this truck had backed over the side of the boat, and the guy was gone, and so and we were out to sea, of course, when this happened. I mean, hell, he would have dropped if we were in port, either or. But so to keep the morale of the ship up, after an event like that, then delicious. Yeah, after an event like that, we would then have like a pizza party type thing, or like an ice cream social, just something to. I might just switch to tongs. I rarely use this stupid thing, but I want to make sure that I don't break them apart. They're looking really nice, so yeah. So we would have these like ice cream socials or something like that, and I don't remember what happened. I want to say it was another time when we were out to sea, and the computer on one of the jets malfunctioned and basically brought the guy in for a landing under the boat. And so luckily he didn't hit us. I mean, because unfortunately more fatalities would have happened. Same thing, he just sunk and that was it. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was after that moment that we had a memorial thing up on the deck, up on the flight deck, the actual like big flat part of the carrier. I mean, it was pretty cool because we're up on the top of the ship, like with these barbecues out, just cooking everything, and it was just really interesting because, I mean, I'd never been somewhere like that. I mean, I'd never even been up on the flight deck. It's not somewhere where you're really allowed to go. All right, I'm gonna put these other 2 in here. You know the oil is hot. I'm going to turn it up a little too. There we go. It's foaming too much. That means it's not hot enough. I don't want it too hot because once again, like, I don't want to burn anything. These are too precious to burn. Alright. Let me take this one out. This one's almost ready. Oh, this one's definitely probably ready already. And so we're up on the flight deck there, having this barbecue, and for whatever reason, the whoever was in charge had allowed them, or had them, because they don't have to give permission, to start dumping some of the trash bales out, some of the huge ones I described earlier. And so we're up on the flight deck. We're out in the middle of the ocean. We're barbecuing. There's like, I don't know, it was literally like some crazy weird scene out of the commercials. Yeah. All right. I probably should have waited till these ones are done to add these ones, but that's what it is. I'm gonna clean this up over here a little bit and start prepping stuff for our sandwich. Alright, I got some butter leaf lettuce here. Do a nice little thin slice on it. Yeah, so we're up there on the flight deck. Oops, a little bad piece here. Yeah, so we're up there on the flight deck having this like super cool barbecue. Yeah, out in the middle of the ocean. We're probably like 7 stories up or something like that. Like, I don't know. Oh, it's not ready. I don't know how high they are up, but they are super tall up there. Alright, so these are These ones aren't coming along as fast as I wanted them to, but that's alright. We'll start getting that sandwich going. Alright, so we're up there in this beautiful location, and right behind us there's just a string of giant trash dump. It's like, are you guys serious? Come on, man. Getting stuff ready to finish the sandwich up, or build it up, I guess you'd call it. Build the sandwich, finish the meal. Yeah, so we're up there having our beautiful moment, and there's this trail of trash being dumped behind us, and it was just disgusting. It was like, come on, guys. Like, all right, I'm only gonna put mayonnaise on the bottom bun, just because I have the other aioli for a dip. And I'm sure there's a lot of you out there that, well, whoever watched this, that are gonna tell me that eventually one day when I get more people watching these, that I'm not making a po' boy. You're probably right. You are right. I don't know how to make one. I'm not from the South, and I've never actually made one. But they always look like damn good sandwiches. So, and I feel that I'm on the right path. Alright, so we got our two bottom halves here. Go like that. Oh man. Gosh. You know, I'll break one in half. I don't need to eat 4 crab cakes. These are... Oh, look at this. Oh, that's going to be insanely good. I'm going to get some of our aioli. I'm going to put it right across the cake. The Scrimpcake. We've made a Scrimpcake, ladies and gentlemen. Put this over here. All right. Yeah, so watching this just trail, this wagon trail of just trash going down the ocean behind us, it was just disgusting. And meanwhile, me and some of the other cooks are over maintaining this barbecue, and we're talking about this. And without thinking about it, when I finished my apple, I just tossed the apple core over the side of the boat. And oh my God, I opened a gate. Oh, this is gonna be fucking awesome. And I mean, I'm talking about the MPs came flying out of nowhere, straight at me. It was like I had pushed someone over the side. They're screaming at me, just halt, 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 basically. And I'm just, what the fuck is going on here? All right, let's see. Do this one little food preview for you guys there. All right, let me get the coleslaw. That coleslaw came out awesome. Yeah, so these MPs come over and they're just screaming at me, and apparently it's some extreme crime to throw stuff over the side of the boat. And it was really interesting to me because here I am throwing a single apple core over the side of the boat. Do a little more coleslaw. You know, let's put some on the sandwich. We'll do one with it, one without it. There we go. Oh, that looks so damn good. Yeah, so apparently I committed some horrendous crime by throwing my apple core into the ocean. Well, meanwhile, behind us is this trail that it's just disgusting. And it's like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, how is this even seriously considered like to be the same thing, or like to be different? Like, you're literally just like, oh man. But I was super lucky because I would have gotten in a shitload of trouble. I would have gotten in a lot of trouble. But our chief, who was this really cool Jamaican lady, she really liked me. And she came over and started yelling at them to stop harassing me. But, oh my gosh, it was I don't know, it was fucking ridiculous. It was like, are you kidding me? Like, I'm throwing an Applecore and you're dumping tons and tons of just non-disposable stuff. But either or. Alright, hold on, let me get one more thing. Yeah, so go figure. But, hey, you know what? We made a fucking killer meal today, didn't we? We got some beautiful fucking crab cakes going here, some scrimp cakes, some aioli, and off camera, I made a tangerine limeade. So, alright, I'm about to dig in. Thanks for watching, you guys, and thank you for supporting. Have a great day.